Chapter 28. Understanding Marginalization. Let's learn the Adivasis, stereotyping Adivasis, problems faced by tribals, scheduled castes, other backward classes, minorities, other marginalized groups, women, children. We frequently hear about particular groups that have been isolated from the society or some social taboos that are associated with them. Such kinds of groups are called marginalized groups. Marginality is an experience that affects a large number of people throughout the world. People who are marginalized have comparatively less control over their lives, as also the resources available to them, which makes them incapable of effectively contributing to the progress of the society. Although the Constitution of India has provided equal rights to all individuals, irrespective of the caste they belong to, yet discrimination is existent in our country. Marginalization prevents a large majority of people across the globe from participating in the developmental process. This has a tremendous impact on the development of human beings as well as on society at large. For the development of a country, we need to create an enabling environment for all people. To ensure a productive, healthy and creative life for all sections of our society, it is important to address the issue of marginalization. The Adivasis. Adivasi is a generalized term for a heterogeneous set of ethnic and tribal groups considered to be the indigenous population of India. These tribal communities or the tribes are recognized as scheduled tribes by the Constitution of India. They comprise about 8% of India's population as per 2011 census. They live in the regions having rich mineral deposits. Due to this reason, many mining and industrial sites are located in these regions, such as Jamshedpur, Rourkela, Bokaro and Bhilai. The Adivasis are scattered across the states of Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, and in the northeastern states of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland and Tripura. Some prominent tribal groups in India are the Bhils in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, the Gonds of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Telangana and Maharashtra, the Santhals of Jharkhand, Odisha and West Bengal. Some other groups are Mizos of Mizoram, Khasi of Meghalaya, Bishnoi of Rajasthan, Apantani of Arunachal Pradesh, Varli of Maharashtra, etc. The Adivasis have a very primitive style of living and consider all as equals. That is, there is no caste distinction as it is seen in the other sections of the society. They have their own typical traditions and rituals, which makes them different from others. We often associate them with people wearing colorful clothes and unique headgears. The Adivasi communities have diverse religious beliefs and follow Hinduism, Islam and Christianity. The Christian missionaries play a crucial role in the 19th century by converting many tribes into Christianity, which has evolved as the most important religion in the history of the modern tribals. Brain tickler. Name the tribal groups of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Jharkhand. Stereotyping Adivasis. The Adivasis or the tribals are considered as a clan of backward, uneducated and uncivilized people who are resistant to change or development. They are blamed for primitive lifestyle and social backwardness. However, this is not true, as nowadays due to their hard work and dedication, many of them have reached great heights and become successful in their careers. Some are still known to live in forests in settled communities or as nomadic herders leading a simple life. Problems faced by the tribals. The life of tribals has changed with the passage of time. The clearing of forest lands for timber, agriculture and industry disturbed their life. Tribals lived in areas that were rich in minerals and other natural resources, which were taken from them by the government. They were evicted from forests, which were later transformed into national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Gradually, the tribals had to move to cities in search of jobs. They got employed at low wages in local industries. This led to poverty and malnutrition among tribal children. Development and upliftment of Adivasis. We know that forests are a precious resource. They provide us numerous benefits that make our life easier. Several mineral deposits such as diamond, coal, silver, iron and copper are obtained from far-flung regions which Adivasis inhabited. Apart from these, we also get timber, medicinal herbs and animal products from forests. The Adivasis lived in these forests and had complete access to them until the 19th century. The other sections of the society were dependent on the Adivasis for the forest resources. It is so ironic that today they are considered a marginalized and abandoned community. Our Constitution has provided many provisions for the scheduled tribes to safeguard their rights and to upgrade their position in the society. Some of them are stated below. The Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Prevention of Atrocities Act was enacted in 1989 to prevent any atrocities against the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Seats have been reserved for scheduled tribes in many educational institutes, government jobs and government organizations. The Ministry of Tribal Affairs, set up in 1999, looks after the socio-economic development of the tribes. Many welfare schemes have been introduced to reduce the backwardness and increase literacy rates among tribes. Tribals are offered loans from government banks at low rates, and their handicrafts are also promoted. Scheduled castes. The Indian society has been divided from the Vedic ages into 4 different castes. These castes decided the position and occupation of an individual in the society, and this was inherited in the subsequent generations also. The upper caste enjoyed supremacy, while the downtrodden caste suffered a lot of discrimination and prejudice. They were looked upon as economically backward community deprived of advancement. They were called the untouchables or the scheduled castes, and some as Dalits. Scheduled castes constitute the socially and economically deprived caste groups of the Hindu society. They mainly consist of agricultural laborers, cultivators of small land holdings, artisans, petty laborers and industrial workers. Infohive. K.R. Narayanan was the first Dalit president of India. Development and upliftment of scheduled castes. The social and economic position of the scheduled castes had been the concern of the founding fathers of the Constitution. To provide safeguards for scheduled castes, special provisions were made to promote the social, educational, economic and employment interests of this section of the society. Some of them are as follows. Equality before the law, Article 14. Special provision for advancement of any socially and educationally backward classes, including SCs, Article 15, Part 4. Throwing open by law of Hindu religious institutions of public character to all classes and sections of Hindus, Article 25b. Removal of any disability, liability, restriction or conditions with regard to access to shops, public restaurants, hotels and places of public resort maintained wholly or partially out of state funds or dedicated to the use of general public, Article 15, Part 2. Forbidding of any denial of admission to educational institutions maintained by the state or receiving grants out of state funds, Article 29, Part 2. Special provision for administration and control of scheduled and tribal areas, Article 244 and 5th and 6th schedules. Abolition of untouchability and its practice in any form is forbidden, Article 17. To ensure the contribution of scheduled castes in legislative process, seats have been reserved for them in the Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabhas. Certain constituencies have also been reserved exclusively for SC candidates to contest elections. Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment was set up to look after welfare of SC communities. Brain tickler. Who coined the term Harijans for the scheduled castes? Other backward classes. Other backward classes, OBCs, are the castes which are socially and educationally disadvantaged or backward. The Government of India has provided them also with certain provisions to safeguard their status in the society. The main objective of these constitutional safeguards is to improve the quality of life of these socially and economically backward classes and enhancement of capability of the people belonging to these communities, so that they can be very much part and parcel of the mainstream of the society. According to Article 340, the government shall promote the welfare of the OBCs, and Article 340 Part 1 states that the President is empowered to appoint a commission to investigate the condition of the socially backward classes. Development and upliftment of other backward classes. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment looks after the welfare of the OBCs. The OBCs are given 27% reservation in government jobs. They are offered interest-free loans for technical education, as also pre-matric and post-matric scholarships. Free-of-cost pre-examination coaching is available for the OBCs to prepare the students for the competitive exams. The Government of India, state governments and even some other voluntary organizations are working for the upliftment and welfare of these socially and economically backward classes. The Mandal Commission was set up in 1979 under the chairmanship of B.P. Mandal to examine the issue of reservation and quota for the upliftment of the OBCs. The Commission awarded 27% reservation to OBCs in government jobs. Minorities. Minority community is a general term used to define the communities which are numerically less in comparison to other communities. Though the Constitution of India doesn't define the word minority and only refers to minorities and speaks of those based on religion or language. The Government of India has taken several steps for the protection and overall development of various religious communities in India. National Commission for Minorities (NCM) was set up by the Union Government of India in 1992 to protect the existence of minorities all over India. According to Union Government of India, 6 religious communities, Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, Zoroastrians, Parsis, and Jains have been notified as minority communities in India. Muslims are the biggest minority group in India. Many states have set up Minorities Commission to look after the issues related to minorities. All the people falling under minority communities in India get benefits in education and employment opportunities. Regional minorities have established many educational institutions to promote their culture and language. They have also reserved a specific quota of seats for people belonging to their own communities. There are various government schemes which provide direct aid to educational institutions promoting regional communities in India. InfoHive. The minorities comprise about 20.2% of India's population as per 2011 census. The Constitution of India grants some special rights to the minorities. These include freedom to manage religious affairs as per Article 26. Freedom as to attendance at religious instruction or religious worship in certain educational institutions as per Article 28. Special provision relating to language spoken by a section of the population of a state as per Article 347. Language to be used in representations for redress of grievances as per Article 350b. Facilities for instruction in mother tongue at primary stage as per Article 350A. Article 29 states that any section of the citizens residing in the territory of India or any part thereof having a distinct language, script or culture of its own shall have the right to conserve the same. No citizen shall be denied admission into any educational institution maintained by the state or receiving aid out of state funds on grounds only of religion, race, caste, language or any of them. All religious and linguistic minorities can establish and run educational institutions of their choice as per Article 30. InfoHive. Jains have the highest 94%, while the Muslims have the lowest 59% literacy rates. National Commission for Women (NCW) was set up by the government in 1992 for the welfare of women. Some other marginalized groups. Women. Women fill a role that is central to the family and the community. Yet in most societies and cultures, they have been marginalized or relegated to an inferior place and left without the means they need to survive. In India, gender inequality is not an unknown term, as we still find families where girls are considered inferior to boys. They are not given rights and freedom to fulfill their dreams and aspirations. In the 18th century, the life of women was even more miserable. They were restricted from education and public life, widows could not remarry, female infanticide was commonly practiced, women had no right to property, etc. They were considered as burden and social evils like Sati and Devdasi prevailed. However, the mindset of people was changed by the social reformers such as Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar in the 19th century. Upliftment of women. The principle of gender equality is protected in the Indian Constitution. It not only grants equality to women, but also empowers the state to adopt measures of positive discrimination in favor of women. Article 15(3), which directs the state to make special provisions for women and children. Many schools and colleges are established for girls to make them skilled and at par with boys. The custom of polygamy was made illegal amongst Hindus as per the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955. Equal right in the property and rights of inheritance to daughters also as given to sons. Abolishment of dowry system. Article 14, which states equality before law for women. An equal pay for equal work for both men and women as per Article 39D. The state to make provision for securing just and humane conditions of work and for maternity relief as per Article 42. Not less than 1/3 of the total number of offices of chairpersons in the panchayats at each level to be reserved for women as per Article 243D Part 4. Children. Children comprise a major portion of the population. They are the future citizens of our country. Their care should be the utmost priority of a nation. In several countries, especially developing countries, children are deprived of basic health care. They are forced to work at very young age, which ends their education and makes them a victim of malnutrition and disease. Upliftment of children. The Constitution of India has implemented several laws for improving the conditions of children. Some of them are stated below. Under the Child Labour Act of 2006, employment of children below the age of 14 is not allowed. Healthcare centers have been set up all over the country for the welfare of the children. Pulse polio program initiated for the eradication of polio has been a success. Midday meals are provided in government schools for the children so that they come to school, learn and get nutritious food. United Nations agencies like UNICEF and UNESCO work for the betterment of children across the globe. InfoHive. Our government has launched the Integrated Child Development Scheme for the future citizens of our country. Recap. Marginality is an experience that affects a large number of people throughout the world. It has a tremendous impact on the development of human beings as well as on society at large. Adivasi is a generalized term for a heterogeneous set of ethnic and tribal groups considered the indigenous population of India. Our Constitution has made many provisions for the scheduled tribes to safeguard their rights and to upgrade their position in the society. Other backward classes, OBCs, are the castes which are socially and educationally disadvantaged or backward. Minority community is a general term used to define the communities which are numerically less in comparison to other communities. In most societies and cultures, women have been marginalized to an inferior place and left without the means they need to survive.